This is me. This is my beloved wife, Sylvia. This is Sylvia's idea of sailing. This is my dream of sailing and my hope of circumnavigating the globe as a retirement project in 2029. This is Sylvia's reaction to that idea. I am on a 6-year quest to convince Sylvia that a circumnavigation is a wonderful adventure, but the clock is ticking, so join me as I search for the perfect yacht that Sylvia will love, and get all your ladies to subscribe and cheer Sylvia on in the comments. Welcome back to Navel Gazing at Camp David. This week, it's monohull madness with a tour of a very special new blue water cruiser, accompanied by none other than Bill Dixon and Matt Dixon, designers of both the exquisite 60 solar sail and our spectacular guest yacht this week, the Hylas 57. Today, we will 1. Review its specifications, pricing, and layout against 3 similar new vessels. 2. Do a full tour asking, what would Sylvia say? 3. Navel gaze at an innovation and or adjustment that might make life aboard just a little easier. 4. Have a look at the used market for 3 to 5-year-old pre-owned comparables. And 5. Give it a Dave score and compare the results with all our previously reviewed yachts. As always, all this fun will be sandwiched between a pairing of wine and a work of art from the same region as the guest yacht, in an effort to capture the culture and people who gave birth to these wonderful vessels. Waves, wine, art, and ideas. What a civilized way to spend 30 minutes. So let's get going. From high above Vancouver, we head east across the North American continent, the Atlantic, and the Med to the home of last week's future yacht at the yards of Aventura Catamarans in Tunisia. From here, we head further east around the globe to the western shore for the island of Taiwan and the Queen Long Marine Yards, home of this week's guest yacht, the Dixon-designed Hylas 57. Although this may be a politically incorrect wine pairing this week, all I could find in Vancouver from Taiwan, a Taiwan producer, was more firewater, and I just couldn't buy any more of that. So we are heading north, across the strait, and up to Silver Heights Jinshan Winery, and this week's wine pairing, Marcellin Silver Heights Jinshan. Much like Carmenere in Chile and Malbec in Argentina, Marcellin has found a home of its own in China. Marcellin is a French wine grape resulting from a laboratory crossing of Cabernet Sauvignon and Grenache Noir by scientist Paul Truel in 1961. Marcellin has since planted all over the world, but is given its best wines thus far in China, where the country's mostly uniformly good wines are made with it. It is genuinely hard to find Marcellin wines from China that aren't, at the very least, interesting. Silver Heights is a family-owned winery from Ningxia, founded by Gao Lin and his daughter Emma Gao in 2007. Emma is the owner and winemaker. She finished her Diploma National d'Enologie in Bordeaux and several winemaking experiences in top chateaux such as Calonge-Siguier before returning to Ningxia to develop their piece of paradise. The 70 hectares of estate acquired in 2012 comprise 2 vineyards, Jinshan Vineyard, 40 hectares, and the south of Xiayingzi Vineyard, 30 hectares, are within a short drive. By 2015, all Silver Heights wines are produced from estate-grown fruit, advanced water conservation systems using targeted drip irrigation. There are horses, donkeys, sheep, all living on the farm to enhance the biodiversity. In 2017, Silver Heights started converting to biodynamic practices from organic. Since the beginning, producing their top cuvées with minimal intervention winemaking, using only wild yeast fermentation, minimal sulfur, and without filtration. All the wines received are from 2017 and beyond. The vineyards have been Chinese organic certified since 2020 and currently converting to Demeter biodynamic certification.
I think you're going to enjoy that. Cheers. Let's go have a look at that boat.
Looking at the Hylas 57, she is an extremely handsome yacht. The hardtop is a little heavy-handed and doesn't extend as far back as the Jeannot and Hansa versions with that automatic pullable extension in the center. But she does have something very cool that we'll see a little later on. The windows are extremely generous. The raised saloon really brings light inside, and the beam extends all the way to the aft, making her very, very roomy, both inside and in that beautiful cockpit area. The profile, really handsome. Again, the hardtop, a little heavy. Looking at our new comparables today, we're actually looking at 5, but really only 4 qualify. I threw in the Jeannot Yacht 65 just for fun. We're looking at the Dufour 61, the Jeannot Yacht 60, the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60, and the Hylas 57. And we have already done reviews of all of these if you'd like to go back. Looking at sail area on the 4 comparables, you can see that the Dufour has the largest sail area at 170 square meters. That's followed by the Hylas 57 at 152 square meters. Then you've got the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 at 139 and the Jeannot Yacht 60 at 131. Hopping now onto the actual top of the vessel into the cockpit areas, you can see that the Hylas has a very generous aft cockpit area for the helm stations, as well as behind that, giving you some room around the davits. Bearing in mind there is no garage on this, you do have the factory davits, which are quite handsome. That's compared to the rest of these, which really don't have a lot of space behind the helm stations. The helm stations are very, very far aft on the Dufour, Jeannot, and Beneteau. I'm assuming that your comfort a little further midships on the Hylas 57 would probably be a little higher, a little less seesawy. Looking at the forward cockpit area where your guests are, you are giving up some of that space on the Hylas, although not a lot. The one thing I'm not a fan of is the Hylas goes with a central table, and I am a big fan of the split tables, which all 3 of the other manufacturers provide. Looking forward, significant design delta between the Dufour 61 and the Jeannot 60, and then the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 and the Hylas 57. The latter 2 extend their headroom space with a bit of a deck bubble much further forward. The latter 2, the Dufour 61 and Yacht 60, have a football field size foredeck that's absolutely flat. So really depends on what you're looking for. In my opinion, I think the extra head space and sense of roominess that you get with the Hylas 57 and Oceanus Yacht 60 is better use of that space than a big flat foredeck where you're not going to go an awful lot of the time. Looking at the beam of these boats, you can see the largest here by a significant amount is the Dufour 61 at 18 feet. And I walked past the aft of one of these at a marina in Greece, and it stopped me dead in my tracks because, wow, does that aft beam look massive. Just huge. I don't know whether it's an optical illusion, but that extra foot they've got there is significantly visible when you're looking at the aft of this thing. Next up is going to be the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 at 17.5 feet. And then the Jeannot Yacht 60 and the Hylas 57 are about tied at somewhere around 17. Having said that, because of the lesser length on the Hylas 57, again, that gives you a lot of beam, and as you can see, that translates all the way to the aft. Hopping inside now, The Hylas 57 retains what is, in my opinion, the only layout for any monohull, sort of between 65 feet and down to probably 50 or 48 feet. And that is the classic oyster layout, full beam aft master, beautiful forward V-berth, and then just after that forward V-berth, along one wall, you've got a Pullman berth. It's the only way to reasonably lay out a monohull. I just don't get why Beneteau, Jeanneau, Dufour keep trying to reinvent the wheel. A hexagon wheel does not work better than a round wheel, and there is no other shape for it. So you can tell I am a big fan of the Hylas layout. That full beam aft master just feels so spacious. You've still got a really spacious forward V-berth for your VIP guests. And then a Pullman cabin, which you will quickly see, not only provides berths for smaller guests or storage, but this one converts into a workshop, which is absolutely fabulous. Then my next favorite layout is going to be the Jeanneau Yacht 60. They have managed to put a nice dinghy garage in this that does impede somewhat into the full beam aft, but your brain doesn't quite pick it up because a section of the cabin is full beam, and it turns out really quite nice. My gripe is, as you go forward, you've got these two split forward queen berths, but neither of them is really VIP. I know you've got the versatility of the wall that disappears, which is kind of cool, but as opposed to the 57, the starboard side does not now convert into a couch if you want to get rid of that wall and make a ginormous VIP guest suite. It still just slides in to be more like a double berth. And I don't get it. It's not as VIP-ish as your traditional oyster layout, and one of those berths is just too big to really sacrifice as a storage space. You can go with an aft full beam master and a forward full beam master, and then put a Pullman cabin, sacrificing your chart table, but that does infringe in on the sense of space that you have in the main saloon area. Dufour, again, why sacrifice that beautiful full beam aft area? I don't get it. It split into the more traditional two cabins, and they suck. I shouldn't say that. That's being harsh. There was a lot of headroom in those aft cabins, but they're just not as dramatic as a full beam aft. The forward master, nice enough. I don't get what the giggles are on turning around that master berth there. Switching around, you putting the head in the forepeak there. You restrict your access around the bed. It's just something to be different. Don't get me wrong, the interior of the Dufour feels fabulous because of those giant sunroofs that they got in it. But boy, you're sacrificing massive space for that aft dinghy garage, as you can see. If you glance over to the far right there and look at the Hylas 57 and your usable space, it's as much as the Yacht 60 and probably more than the Jeanneau Yacht 60, and probably equivalent, if not more, as my eye looks over it, to the Dufour 61. We've been hanging dinghies off the aft of these boats forever, so I'm not sure why I would take up all that space with the dinghy garage. Anyways, there's the overview. I'm not a fan at all of the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 layout. Again, they spun the bed around. It reduces access. It's just something to be unique, and that wheel didn't need to be reinvented. Looking at the tonnage, long tons on these ones, The heaviest girl here is the Hylas 57. And of course, we're talking monohulls, so that's going to translate into comfort. The next one is going to be the Dufour 61. Then you've got sort of tied the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 and the Jeanneau Yacht 60. Hopping into the numbers here, as we run across the top line, the Hylas is not cheap. You are paying for a high-quality vessel. However, you're not paying that much more, and you are getting an awful lot more when we start to look at it. So again, I believe the Hylas is an outstanding value. So Hylas, we're looking at 1.6 million euros. Then it would be the Dufour at 1.3, and the Beneteau at about $1 million, and the Jeanneau Yacht 60 at $8,500. As we look down into the numbers, looking at length overall, the longest is the Dufour 61 at 63. Then you've got the Beneteau at 62, the Jeanneau at 60, and the Hylas at an overall of 59.5. Beam-wise, again, we already examined the Dufour is the widest at 18, with the next, the Oceanus Yacht 60 at 17.5, and then the Hylas and the Jeanneau Oceanus Yacht 60 are both at about 17. Looking at displacement, again, the lightest, in this case, I'm so used to catamarans, I choose the lightest as the leader. But in, sailing monohulls, probably not the right approach. But here, the Jeanneau Yacht 60 is the lightest at 20.2 metric tons. Heading down to engine power, you got the Dufour at 180 horsepower, and everybody else is at 110, or 150, sorry. And then fuel and water, respectively, it's the Hylas at 1,100 liters of fuel and about 1,000 liters of water. So she is meant to go the distance, and actually even outstrips the Jeanneau Yacht 65 on many of those numbers. Getting into more of the technical details, this is where your quality comes in. Your Hylas 57 hull construction, definitely the winner here. It's a pure vinyl ester hull with a foam core, and you've got everything you want there. Vinyl ester, foam core, high quality hull. You're not going to be worried about blistering or any water intrusion into that. The rest are much of a sameness. They've generally got a polyester resin, fiberglass, monolithic below the waterline, some kind of core, generally foam, but can be balsa in the case of Dufour, above the waterline. So you can see just overall the Hylas is the stronger boat. Sail area to displacement, indicative of power. It's the Dufour at 20.7. That's followed up by the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 at 18.2, the Jeanneau Yacht 60 at 18, and the Hylas very close at 17.5. Looking at displacement to hull length at the waterline, the leader there is the Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 60 at 114.9. Heading to comfort ratio, this is as we suspected. The Hylas 57 leads the pack at 35.6, basically the same as the Jeanneau Yacht 65, a much larger vessel. The next closest is the Dufour 61 at 27.5. The capsizing screening formula, or CSF, has the Hylas in the lead at 1.8. And finally, hull speed. Among the four comparables, simply a factor of length is, of course, the Dufour at 10.2 knots. The Hylas and the Beneteau are at 10.1, and the Jeanneau is at 9.95. If you're enjoying the content, please hit subscribe. It's free, and it really, really helps the channel. I would really appreciate comments. I've learned so much from the audience, and if you have criticisms, it forces me to investigate further. If you have compliments, I'm thrilled. And if you have additional information, that just really helps me as I learn all about this and share it with you. Finally, if you give me a like, it really helps us out as well. So thanks very, very much. Hopping on board, what would Sylvia say? Well, I have a bit of a treat for you here. Not only was I accompanied by Bill and Matt Dixon, the designers of this vessel, but I got to see actually two of them. This one, fully complete, in a very different kind of fit out, sort of high-end luxury. Now, these are luxurious no matter what you do. But this one you'll see takes it to an extreme. And the other one, a lovely couple we were touring these with, the owners of Exodus, a beautiful blue-hulled baby. And on this particular day, she didn't even have her mast done, so she wasn't fully commissioned. I do have some images of her at the Annapolis show as she was fully commissioned. But here, from this angle, you don't really see the thickness, the apparent thickness of that hardtop. It feels frickin' sturdy. Now, you'll notice at the aft end, some incredible davits. I got davit envy on this particular vessel. Those are carbon fiber Atlas davits worth about, I don't know, $65,000 or $85,000 for the pair. But whew, are they pretty? They're really quite something. But look at the lines of this vessel. Very, very purposeful. That plumb bow, the nice hull ports that you've got there that bring a lot of light in. And of course, that wonderful deck saloon that allows so much comfort and light into the salon itself. Look at the bowsprit here. Absolutely gorgeous. And again, all of your furling sails there on the bow, all electric. I think it was electric as opposed to hydraulic. Every aspect of this, I mean, look at your beautiful inset striping there. This is much more a semi-custom yacht than your production yachts. And for the buck, I mean, wow, the things you can do on this. You're paying about $1 million less than an Oyster, which would be something of a comparable yacht, which I'm sure I'll get blowback on that one. And you're paying a lot less. You're paying almost the same as a Jeanneau 65, but the level of fit and finish that you can get in this compared to a 65 or any of the production yachts isn't even comparable. Look at these beautiful gin and tonic seats. The owner of this one even has covers for those, and the reversible captain's chairs here. So you can really turn that bigger aft deck, which we observed in the overheads, into a fantastic social space. You've got the double helm seats that shift back. You've got your gin and tonic seats at the back, and you've even got room for fold-out chairs here. Now look at these davits. You can't see the full davit, but holy macaroni, are they pretty. And then you can take down the guard wires there, and you've got a very nice access to your aft steps that take you down to the dinghy when it's launched. And of course, opening up here, you can see the amount of space that you've got back here and the steps that all go down onto that beautiful swim platform. So, I mean, wow, what an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous setup here. You've got then additional space in that aft area for storage. And then swinging around here, you can see very easy access into a beautifully sheltered cockpit area. The helm station is extremely comfortable. As we observed, it's a little further forward. On this one, he has the hardtop extend much further forward, much further aft than you will see on Exodus. And Exodus has a fascinating alternative, which is pretty darn cool. The one thing I'm not a big fan of on the Hylas hardtop, and I am a huge fan of hardtops, is that you either have this solution, which is fully solid all the way to the aft with no central convertible top area, such as you have on the Hansa and the Jeanneaus. And then you will have the alternate, and I'll let the cat out of the bag. It's a an extendable soft top out of the aft area of the hard top. Which is great, except if you're in heavy weather, I don't think I'd want that out, and that's sort of when I'd like some cover over me as I'm in the cockpit area. So I think that Hansa and Jeanneau actually have got the formula for a good hardtop, convertible hardtop down right. Look at the size of the hardware on this thing. Beautiful handholds all the way forward. This one, of course, the lovely teak all the way around. You've got the included whisker poles there, in-mast furling, and everything is over-engineered. The entire vessel feels like an absolute tank. This feels like, if I could say so, the balance of monohulls, and that is a compliment to both brands. I hope it's taken that way, because everything felt overbuilt, super strong, very well engineered, really, really cool. And we will see on Exodus next some additional custom items that were included from the factory, and again, giving you a sense of the level of customization that you can get in this 60-foot beauty for the same price as a 65-foot Jeanneau, and about $1 million less than an Oyster. So you are really getting some exceptional value here. Here again, you can see the extended headroom that you've got below there, because they've raised the cabin top here, as well as, of course, you've got the raised saloon, the deck saloon. Sorry, lost my English there for a moment. Look at the beautiful integrated forward windscreen. Like, none of this plastic nonsense. This is absolutely gorgeous. And you can only imagine the amount of shelter and comfort you have with that hardtop. Again, I think the hardtop is a little thick visually, just aesthetically, but holy crap, you got no worries about how strong it is. The other thing is, for your sail visibility, you have built-in windows right above the helm positions, and of course you can easily, quickly just lean out the side and look over and up, similar to what you can do on the Jeanneau 60. But I do like the way the windows are. Now, looking around the cockpit here, look at the size of these winches. I mean, they're freaking huge winches. Again, everything is overbuilt. Really comfortable, secure cockpit area here. Again, I do wish that the table was split. I'm not a huge fan of winches inside the cockpit. Everything should be taken back to the helm positions. But again, if I was a betting man, I'd say you can fit this out any way you want, and they will do it for you. But really a beautiful layout, lots of room. Now, hold your breath. Here we go. We're heading down into this beauty. And you can see actually the way, I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. I guess I was fascinated by the grate and the way the door disappeared in. But look at these floors. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at the fittings. We got a little plastic over the leather here, but don't let that scare you. You've even got sort of a rose gold or bronze finish on all of the fittings. Look at this really takes it to the degree that you can customize this. You've got beautiful seating areas with contrasting color piping, fantastic engine room access. Look at the mirrors that extend it as the sense of space in here. Of course, all of your control panels are extremely well laid out. Very, very nice chart table, navigation station here. Everything you want right there. Lots of handholds. I mean, look at the finish on here. The sort of granite, marble type surfaces, right down to those little stools you saw and the detail in them. We'll look at them a little closer, but wow, are they absolutely gorgeous. So a quick scan around here, you can see exactly what that deck saloon, all those windows do to the beauty and the room inside the cabin here. Now, we've got plastic on the seats, so don't let that put you off. Trust me, every surface felt luxurious, high-end. And remember, your pricing on this is not what an oyster is, and it's feeling like an oyster. And looking at the decoration that this owner had put in, look at the wallpaper he had specified. I mean, it's going to the edge of where I would go, but wow, he did pull it off. And look at those stools, even the detail there. The surfaces in this table are absolutely stunning. You're not going to see those in a catamaran, of course, not with that kind of weight. But here you can get away with it. And again, looking around the beautiful deck saloon, you don't have the forward opening windows that you do on the Oyster, and I'm not sure why more don't do it. But given what this boat is set up with, you can have the AC going all day long and you'll probably be just fine. Your galley area, again, absolutely spectacular. Every surface feels luxurious. Feels exotic, and you will see just how different Exodus is on the interior. Again, luxury and exotic, but a very, very different feel, giving you a sense and a contrast between the two of the level of customization that you can have in these. But look back here. Look at this full beam aft master. It is just, Sylvia would be beside herself. I mean, it's exceptional. Bearing in mind, this is, and I will say it with a grin, only a 60-foot yacht. But this master cabin feels gigantic. And, again, Dufour could have done this in the aft of their 61, but they went and wasted that space with everything from dinghy garages to split aft cabins. I just don't know why you would take such a dramatic space and turn it into the mediocre. You can see the sort of the areas that they've covered with smoked mirrors, which add a very nice sense of space to this cabin. Look at the size of your master ensuite and your shower. Absolutely beautiful. And you've got windows on both sides of that master shower, master bath, which is absolutely outstanding. The level of fit and finish on all of the hardware is just... It's just extraordinary. And again, we're talking about something that is in and around the same price as a high production Jeanneau 65. And as you can tell, this feels so much more. This is high luxury. There's Bill and his son. And it was kind of cool running into them and having this walk around with them. And there is the lady of the boat, very happy looking around. Now, this isn't her vessel. We'll go over. She owns Exodus, and we'll see just how lovely that vessel is as well. But look at the sense of space and luxury that you have on board this vessel. There is, your mast base, taking it down to a keel step mast. And we'll head past that. It's nice the way they've offset the corridor so you hardly even notice it. Here is your guest bath, as it should be, on the starboard side. And again, the luxury carries on in here. Your guests are feeling extremely well pampered, to say the very least. And across the way, there is your Pullman berth, just as it should be on the starboard side here. Now, what's really cool about this berth is that, and we'll see a little later, you can pull up that mattress and you have a full stainless steel surfaced workstation. But look at what your guests get to enjoy in this beautiful forward V berth, the way a boat should be laid out. We've got cushions and stuff there, but your guests have full access all the way around. That's a full three-sided berth. They don't feel cramped. You've got Jack and Jill access to the head right directly out of theirs, and then into the day head. But I mean, absolutely fantastic as you look around. There's Matt holding the rail at the top. Again, lots of handholds all around the vessel. Okay, we're going to move into a little navel gazing now. I've been anxiously awaiting a hybrid drive from Integrel Systems for over a year, and it's finally here. The Integrel eDrive 15 SE. The Integrel eDrive 15 SE, designed for single-engine applications, delivers 15 kilowatts of power when generating and 20 horsepower in eDrive mode. In generation mode, the system monitors throttle input so that in the event full engine power is needed for propulsion, the system instantly powers down. As soon as a stable engine speed is restored, the system resumes power generation. Using the electric drive starts with turning the fossil fuel engine off. The throttle drives the boat like normal, but without the noise, vibration, and smell. 2025 will bring increased power and generation options with the release of the 30 SE. The system can operate in one of 5 modes: engine idling, engine driving, engine generating power, engine driving and generating simultaneously, eDrive motor driving. The Integrel eDrive 30 SE, designed for single-engine applications, delivers 30 kilowatts of power when generating and 40 horsepower in eDrive mode. This is a slim-line shaft-driven motor that's installed between the engine and the transmission. It generates power to charge at 48 volts and drives the boat using power stored in the 48-volt batteries. It uses the intelligent controller, which manages motor operation to provide seamless electric drive transition and automatic power generation. Full integration with battery systems and third-party screens such as B&G chart plotters. The Integrel screen provides system monitoring and control of power generation, electric drive, and batteries. The system is fully tested in-house with every component tested and configured for your boat. It's fully integrated into the Fathom e-Power system from Naval. It's available, now this is interesting, in shaft or sail drive and only adds 100 millimeters to the axial length of the powertrain. It's compatible with Yanmar, Volvo, Nani, Beta, and Vetus. Now that is a really interesting alternative to what everybody else is currently using. Have a good look at it. They're terrific people. They got some very interesting technology, and I think this is just going to accelerate the whole hybrid environment. Okay, back looking around. Now this one is Exodus, and it's at the Annapolis show when it was fully commissioned. So you can get a sense of the outside. Here we can see that beautiful aft swim deck down, and the owners of Exodus actually also put stairs on the outside of that swim deck, so even when it was up, you could easily access the dinghy when the davits have put it down into the water. But wow, she is a pretty vessel. Now right there is what I was going to tell you about. So they have cut off the hardtop just ahead of the helm positions and have that integrated power sunshade that extends out. I love the idea. We talked about it in previous navel gazing sessions. My only concern is in heavy weather when I'd like the coverage over the helm positions. I'm not sure if I'd want that out. The other thing that I'm a little disappointed on this in oysters and the upper class like this is they don't integrate the barbecue. It's hanging off the rails as usual. So I think these are unusual yachts and should have that barbecue integrated. Okay, on board Exodus here, the day I was out with Bill and Matt, and we're looking over it before it was commissioned. As you can see, here are those stairs that I told you about that are integrated into the aft swim platform of Exodus. There is the sunshade retracted fully into the hardtop. Now, look at the full extent of solid handrails going at least halfway up the vessel here. So really quite something with the solid handrails. Here we get to have a nice look at the pod, the control pod. Everything is right there. You can see as well, again, the seat there, the seat back, which goes back and forward. And here we are looking at all those lovely buttons to see if we can find, oh, and there it is, the button that takes this baby all the way out. So it's pretty freaking cool. Again, I'm not sure that I'd want it out in heavy seas or wind. I don't know the specifications or the tolerance of this unit. It's a tremendous idea and certainly does give you a little more wind in your hair when you're at the helm as opposed to the fully extended hardtop that we saw on the gold version of this vessel. But again, you can see everything feels overbuilt, if you will, over-engineered, really well done. Here we've got the davits that are the more conventional davits that you would see on your typical oyster, as opposed to those fabulous carbon fiber Atlas davits that cost you as much as a house. But what a terrific option on this vessel. Again, I applaud it. It's good. I do think that Hansa and Jeanneau have a better idea with sort of the T-top and that easily retractable center convertible section that whips back and forth and can be extended or retracted in heavy weather depending on how you want to do it. But this is a pretty neat design idea, I gotta say that. And I would think it's fairly sturdy. We'll just have another look at, as you can tell, I was quite fascinated with this one. Okay, looking aft here, you can see a better look of those embedded steps on the swim platform there. Very nicely done so that whether it's up or down, you can still easily and comfortably access your dinghy. We'll take a run up the side here so that you can have a closer look. Look at those beautiful solid handrails. They convert to the lines here. If it were my boat, I would extend the handrails, the solid rails, all the way forward. But here's something you don't see every day. Look at the pulpit up here, and look at the solid handrails that you can see, and look what's embedded in those solid handrails. It's droppable seats, dolphin seats. They can be up or they can be down. Now, we've talked about this before, and we've seen this on catamarans, but never in a monohull. And I'm not quite sure why not. I would actually love to see them even bigger than that. Why couldn't they drop down and be love seat style? They don't do anything to harm the lines of the ship. She still looks gorgeous. But wow, they do add immediate functionality to that forward deck space as opposed to just putting cushions down. Every aspect of this is done. You've got a beautifully etched foot plate there as you step on board. Again, the massive winches that we were talking about, all of them electric. You can see the control pedals there for them. And again, we're looking at these aft davits. The one fantastic thing about a solid hardtop like this one is on a monohull is that, of course, you have a platform for real solar without mucking up either your side rails with pop-out ones or tacking them on to canvas biminis. It looks way more aesthetically pleasing, and of course you could put high performance solid glass ventilated ones up there as well if you wanted to. Okay, heading down in, now you can see a counterpoint to the other vessel that we saw. Here we've got beautiful deep blue upholstery with a contrasting white piping. It really, really does look extremely attractive. They've gone with a light oak interior, which certainly lightens things up. Not quite as wildly exotic as our friends in the gold boat, but of course all your dimensions the same and your comfort level. This is much more a homey boat as far as the look and feel goes, as opposed to the wild gold wallpaper in the other one. But again, every aspect of this you can see to the degree that you can customize this vessel. Every type of wood veneer, every type of upholstery, every accessory, every surface you can see here. The surfaces are wood versus that sort of marble surface that you had in the other vessel. All your handholds, of course, all the same, all wrapped in a lovely leather, everything extremely high quality. Here we've got beautiful countertops. Again, not quite as, dare I say the word, gaudy as the other ones were. Much more sort of practical feel to them. So it totally depends on your taste, and you can do whatever you wish. Lots of refrigeration and freezer space on board here. This vessel felt, very light and airy and open, and very much meant to do what it is meant to do, which is that be a liveaboard vessel. Here we are in the large aft master cabin. I'm far forward scanning from the starboard to the port. You can see that this couple decided to get rid of the large settee along the starboard side, which the other one had, and they've replaced it with a workstation. The other side has lots of cupboard space over there. Again, the look and feel completely different because of you can choose absolutely everything you want to have in your vessel. They also had something unique in the master head, and that was more engine access. If I recall correctly, there was an additional door that was put in here to provide the owner even further access to engine and generator spaces and things of that nature. And here it is. Yes, indeed it was. So you're talking about levels of customization that you can't even dream of with production yacht builders, but at a price that really isn't a massive premium over what you're paying with the production builders. Yes, it's a premium, but it's not an oyster or a contest premium. And, you're getting levels of fit and finish here, which are pretty exceptional. A full vinyl ester hull, it's really something special. We're just going to walk a little forward. Look at the sole of this cabin. Utterly gorgeous. I love carpet, but I'm not even sure I'd put carpet on this sole. It's just so pretty. There again is Bill walking past. We're going to go forward here. And looking at, again, this Pullman berth area here. Remember, that mattress pulls up and you've got a full stainless steel workbench underneath it if you want it. There's your guest bedroom, or bathroom, sorry. And again, that beautiful forward V-berth with full three-sided access all the way around her. Well, that's it for the Hylas 57. You've seen two fine examples of her. Very, very different interior designs, different options from the drop-down seats in the front deck to the solid bimini to the Extenda soft bimini. Again, you can do absolutely everything on this vessel. You can see how how the beam transfers all the way to the aft on her. She really is quite something. Look at this full enclosure. You can see it here on Exodus now. And you can be completely enclosed and comfortable. It's just what you'd want up here in the Pacific Northwest, or hair flying in the breeze as you're doing those Caribbean vacations. So there you have it, an absolutely stunning vessel, and a real experience for me getting to tour her with Bill Dixon and his very charming son, Matt. Okay, pre-owned comparables. What the heck do we compare this with? Well, I'll step out and we'll look at a Beneteau Oceanus Yacht 62. They're asking a 1.39 for this vessel. She's 018, so 5 years old, versus 2.6, which is our estimated sail away. I'd probably do the Beneteau on this, although I don't like their layout. Next up, we got a Blue Water 56. She's a little shorter. They're asking 1.5 versus 2.6. If I had the extra mil on this one, I'm sorry, I would go the Hylas 57. I just like everything that they've done on that vessel. The cockpit, the Blue Water just feels quite dated in comparison. Next up, Hansa 588, one of my favorite vessels. This is an 019, so we're looking 4-year-old boat. They're asking 825. Well, so obviously not the same caliber of boat, and it's used. I'd have to go with a Hansa 588 on this, depending on how it was set up. Next up is the Nator Swan 58, a very comparable vessel. They're looking at $3 million US for a 1-year-old boat. Not a chance in heck. I would do the Hylas 57 all day long for 2.6. Finally, we're looking at an Oyster 018, so a 5-year-old boat, a 575. This is new enough that it's got the vertical windows. They're looking 2.1 versus 2.6 on the Hylas. Oh boy, that one I would struggle with that one. It'd probably be the Oyster. Okay, into monohull Puritan Purgatory. We're going to look at catamarans that we'd compare to this. And I start off with my friend Tamash's Exquisite X5 2020. He's looking 1.35 versus 2.6. I love the interior of the Hylas. I'd have to go with the Exquisite because Sylvia wouldn't tolerate the healing. Outremer 2251. They're looking at 1.4 versus 2.6 on the Hylas. I know you're going to go a lot faster on the Outremer, but as far as comfort and quality and sense of elegance and all that, you can't touch the Hylas. If I had the money, I'd do the Hylas. I know that's sacrilege, but the Privilege Series 5, we're looking at a 2019, so a 4-year-old boat. They're asking 1.7 if it's in good shape versus 2.6. These are comparable interiors and quality finishes on this one. I'm sorry, I would do the Privilege Series 5. Finally, we're looking at a 2020 Sunreef 50. They're looking 1.7 versus 2.6 on the Hylas. I find the Sunreefs are just a little too Euro exotic on the interiors. I'd probably do the Hylas on this one. It's it's not going to be much slower than the Sunreef 50. Next up, we're looking at a 2022, a 2-year-old, 1-year-old boat, McConaughey 55. They're looking 2.683 versus 2.6 for the Hylas. I would have to do the McConaughey. This is an extraordinary vessel, and no comparison in space. Okay. We're up to the Dave score. So how did she do? Well, we've done a lot of yachts, and you can see that green line shows up real fast. She did extremely well. I know there's going to be the catamaran purists that will scream, but there's no arguing with the quality and the comfort and the customizability that you see in this Hylas 57. So elegance on the interior, a 9. And you can make it as elegant as you want. Exterior, a 9. Interior comfort, a 9. Exterior comfort, a 9, especially with what Exodus did with some of her options. Quality, definitely a 9. Performance, it's a 5. I mean, it's a monohull and a heavy monohull. Lazy Sailor, 7. Maybe even a 6 on that one with those winches in the cockpit area. Condo, an 8. You really did feel comfortable inside this thing. Geek, I'm going to give it an 8. It had some cool features to it, especially on Exodus. And value for money, we're going to give it a 7. So overall, she's a 79 or an 80, which puts her way up there with some of the catamarans, even considering that heeling. For our Art of the Region this week, we're looking at Shui Song, the blue-green landscape, mixed media on canvas. Shui Song, born in 1965 in Anhui Province, China. He works and lives in Anhui Province. He graduated from the Shanghai Drama Institute Stage Art Department in 1988 and is one of the leading artists of contemporary Chinese pop art. Shui Song is well known for his innovative combination of contemporary and traditional elements where calligraphy, folk art, and ink paintings meet modern techniques. He began his initial experiments with collage after being inspired by Western art, especially pop art, and the works of Robert Rauschenberg in the 1980s. He is acclaimed as the first artist in China to bring Western collage into the contemporary Chinese art scene. After a tragic destruction of his studio by fire in 1990, Shui started to incorporate charred remnants of past work, books, and other belongings, remains that served as a constant reminder of the past, while burning and collaging have become distinctive elements within his artistic language. I discovered some kind of mark from this fire. I found a language form that enabled me to speak. The treatment of ready-made pictorial images and text prints through selection, disintegration, burning, restructuring, collage, and drawing to eventually produce the new image which meets my own requirements. Borrowing the power of fire, he explores the reality and illusion of art from the destruction and regeneration of pictorial images. Shui Song's works are collected by the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston, University of Southern California Asia Pacific Museum, Bonn Museum of Modern Art, Germany, China Art Museum, Shanghai Art Museum, Long Museum, Hong Kong M+ Art Museum, Bill Gates Art Foundation, and other institutions. He has held solo exhibitions in Shanghai Art Museum, Xi'an Art Museum, MoCA in Singapore, Yuno Art Museum in Japan, and in 2019 he held a solo exhibition, Shui Song, Phoenix Art from the Ashes, at Long Museum, West Bund, Shanghai. Well, that's our Waves, Wine, Art, and Ideas for one more week. I do hope you enjoyed this beautiful Hylas 57. It was a real treat touring the variations of it with Bill Dixon and his son. And I thank both of them, as well as the lovely owners of Exodus, for tolerating me and my camera as I poked around every place. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.